I'm in this aquascaping hobby for 18 years. And in aquascaping contest for 17 years. That is a pretty long time. And in this 17 years, my result is not always good. You know, I also have my fair share of up and down. There are a few years that I'm not in the top 27. There are also few years that I'm not even in the top 100. You know, it's always up and down. But I think that I am always able to stay competitive. So, you know, no matter how bad is my result, I will always bounce back. So today, I want to talk about this contest mentality. You know, I've seen people, my friends, who sometimes get a bad ranking, and then they just like can't come back anymore. Like, you know, very disappointed and feel like quitting, and you know, the result never come back. The good result never come back. And I have also seen some friends who get some very good ranking, and then they can't reproduce the good ranking again. That is why I feel that staying competitive is not something that is easy to do, especially over such a long period. For me, 17 years. As I say, I have my ups and downs. So in the years that my result is bad, for example, let's say out of top 100 or not in the top 27, of course I will feel sad, you know, disappointed, even angry. I feel that all this negative emotion, it is completely normal. Having all this negative emotion, it just shows that we care about this hobby. It just shows that we care about this contest. So I feel that it is completely okay to have all this negative emotion. But the thing is that we shouldn't let it drag, or we shouldn't let it, let's say, weigh us down. For example, in those years that my result is bad, of course I feel sad, I angry, you know, I vent my anger to my friends. I complain to my friends, and not really complain, but I just tell them why my result is bad, blah, blah, blah. And I will always do that, but not for long term. Let's say a few years. Sorry, not a few years, but I will not let it drag. Let's say after a few days, or let's say give or take 1 or 2 weeks, I will have to shut down this negative emotion. I think that is very important to shut it down and then start fresh again. By the way, I think I have to turn back just in case I get lost. We have to shut down all this negative emotion and use that as some kind of a motivation to drive us to do better next year. As I said, I do feel all this negative emotion myself, but it is something short term. I will always use this negative emotion to turn it into a motivation. And one thing that is very important, whenever we have this, let's say, bad result, we don't ask why the contest is giving me this bad ranking. We don't ask why the judges are giving us bad mark. Because the moment we start to ask or to blame the, let's say, the third party for our bad result, we will never change. We will never improve. Yeah, so it is very important not to blame the others. Always ask ourselves why we get this bad result. What did we do wrong that giving us this bad ranking? Always ask ourselves, not ask the others. I think this mentality is very important. We always have to ask ourselves, not ask the others. So that is what I always do when I get a bad ranking. Another thing that I think is equally important that I always tell my friends, if we want to have a different result, we have to do different things. If you keep doing the same thing, how can you expect a different result? For example, let's say if your result is not good or not up to your expectation, but you keep doing the same thing again, the result will be the same, right? So if we want to have a different result, a better ranking, we have to do something different. I think this is pretty understandable. To me, it is very logic, but there are always some friends who can't seem to understand this simple logic. They keep doing the same thing year after year. I mean, the style, the theme, they keep doing the same thing. And then they ask why they can't get a different result, a better result. Why? Because you're doing the same thing, that's why. So if we want to have a better result or a different kind of result, we have to do different things. Simple as that. How about good ranking? So when I get a good ranking, for sure I will be happy, I will be celebrating, I will feel proud of myself. I think that is also something that it is quite normal. And the same thing as a bad result, if we don't have all these positive emotions, it just shows that we don't care about this thing. Yeah, so for sure we care about all this. So it is okay to feel proud. It is okay to celebrate. But we shouldn't let it drag on. All this good feeling, all this celebration should have a short time frame. For example, a few days to a few weeks. I mean, we can celebrate for 1 week, 2 weeks, no problem. But it has to stop somehow. And then, for me, I will always treat a contest result only valid for 1 year. So whenever you get a good ranking, I will tell myself that good result will means nothing when we go to the next year. We cannot carry forward a good result to the following year. We cannot have this thinking that we have an advantage because we have a good ranking, that we have an advantage going to the following year. We cannot have this kind of thinking. To me, at the every beginning of a new contest season, I feel that everybody is starting at the same starting line. Everybody, regardless whether you are having good ranking or bad ranking the previous year, once the new contest season starts, everybody should start at the same starting line. Everybody start from zero again. So that is how I always remind myself once the new contest season starts, I will be the same like everybody else. Whatever that I achieved the year before, reset. So I think this is a kind of, I call it a reset mentality, which I feel it is pretty important. If let's say we want to stay long and stay competitive in this aquascaping hobby or contest. So that is what I always will, my approach when it comes to aquascaping contests. And I feel that this approach is the main thing that keep me competitive all these years. Now I want to cross this small stream. Hopefully I don't fall down. Beautiful area. I don't see many aquatic plants here. Just a small creek, I think. Very calm and very peaceful. Very beautiful. So I think that is all I want to say today. Yeah, this is my first time recording outdoor. It's kind of fun, but I think the weather is not too good today. I think it's going to rain soon, so I'm going to go back to my hotel. Okay, bye bye.